So probably the biggest question you're thinking of is like, is the X series actually better? And the answer is, for some people, yes. A lot of it has to do with the container size and shape, but the first thing that you should know is that there's a big difference in the user experience between the A3500 and either of the high-end Ascent X series models, so the X4 and the X5. So first of all, the programs on the X series are kind of within a menu. So you press a menu button and you use the dial to toggle the program that you want to use. So it's a different thing than on the A3500. There's 5 sort of buttons just right there. So soup, start, walk away. Some background on the programs. Recipe programs on a Vitamix are like a popcorn button on your microwave. So you press the button, it turns on, ramps up, ramps down, which is nice for a handful of programs. Things like a smoothie, a hot soup, cleaning cycle, things where you can do and multitask. Walkaway blending isn't really a thing for the recipes that you need to use a tamper. So ice cream, hummus, nut butter, you still need to be there with the machine as it's running to use the tamper to push the ingredients down into the blade. Another note about programs, all of these machines have variable speed control, so you can operate each machine manually. You don't have to use the programs for any of these machines. So for example, here's me making a smoothie bowl. Could I have made it using the frozen dessert setting on the X2? Yes, absolutely. Could I have made it on any of these machines using variable speed control and just freestyling it? 1, dial it up to 10, use the tamper, and then when it's done, turn it off? Yeah, for sure. So that's what the programs are. And then the takeaway with the quantity of programs, basically the difference between 3 programs and 10 programs isn't 7 more things that you can do. It's just 7 more programs. Okay, a lot of what's gonna go into your decision is the size of the container that comes with each machine. So the 64-ounce container, the low profile 64, is a wide container, and it's really good at batching. Big batches of smoothies, of hot soups, of protein shakes, we make like a coarsely chopped detox salad, really good for that. Because the blade in the 64-ounce container is larger than the one in the 48-ounce container, soups take less time to make. It uses friction heating, so there's no heating mechanism. It's the blade spinning super duper fast. Just like when you're outside, you rub your hands together, they feel warm. That's how Vitamix containers of all shapes and sizes make hot soup. Now, the 48-ounce container that comes with the X series, this is kind of like the Goldilocks of Vitamix containers. You can make all of the things, and you can make all of the things in smaller batches. So you can make pesto for tonight, you can make dressings for tonight, you can make strawberry banana and ice cream for 1 or 2. So for example, if you wanted to make nut butter, in the 48-ounce container, you'd only need 3 cups of nuts versus 4 in the low profile 64. I mean, if you want 2, you can get 2, but we're all about underselling. We just want you to just get what you need right now. If you're asking for my expert opinion you're not asking for my expert opinion, okay. Most people are gonna be happiest with the 48-ounce container from the outset because it allows them to make the greatest quantity, not quantity of batch, but breadth of things. The safe play for people is to start with a 48-ounce container. However, the 64-ounce container is really good for batching, and it can make some things that might be kind of surprising. Like you can make a 12-ounce Frappuccino if you want. We have a whole video about it showing you. Like it's doable if you do it right, if you use the right recipe. It's actually not that limiting. And you can make ice cream and nut butters using the 64. You just have to make a bigger batch. Real customer 1, this is Sarah. She has a family, young children. She wants to make green juice every other day, just like us, a big batch for her whole family. She loves the idea of having protein shakes and popcorn for movie night. She wants to make big batches of soup. She goes with the A3500. It comes standard with that 64-ounce container. Okay, another customer of ours, we'll call him David. He's also a parent. Basically, everyone in his house can use the blender and has their own opinion, wants to do their own thing. He also really likes making like pesto. Him and his daughter want to make strawberry banana ice cream, just the 2 of them. David went with the X2 here, just kind of keep it simple, all tactile controls, full functionality, and it was a lower get-in price than the higher end X series models. This is like very, very similar to the 5200, which people like ChatGPT thinks is the best one, another customer of ours. So you have, we'll call them Robert and Patricia. So these are empty nesters. They have the time to cook in the kitchen, to explore, in addition to their smoothie practice. And this was a no-brainer for them. They went with the X4, and I can't remember, maybe it was the X5, but fits in with the aesthetic of their kitchen. And then the last customer of ours, or kind of customer profile, we'll call him Tom. He came from a legacy, is coming from a legacy Vitamix, and it was easy. Went with the X2. This is the easiest transition. Felt really like home from what he had. Here's the visual that we put together. Do you see yourself as a home chef? Most likely, one of the X series is the better choice for you. If you want that brushed stainless finish, you go with the X4 or the X5. If not, go with the X2. They're both terrific. Do you identify primarily as a family food prepper? This one could go either way. So if you're making big batches, smoothies, juices, detox salad for meal prep, other kind of meal prep stuff, go with the A3500, low profile 64-ounce container. Otherwise, go with the X series. Vitamix veterans should just go right to the X2, and then small batch cooks, exploring in the kitchen, you could get one of the X series. Does this all make sense? Does this help make it clear? This isn't really about the features. I think a useful exercise for people is when they do the regret test. So like, pretend you just purchased your Vitamix and it's at your door and you open up the box. Which one do you regret not getting? And if the answer is, oh, well, I got the one I wanted, then that's the one you wanted. I'll put all the things that we talked about in the description so you can take a look for yourself at the chart, at each product. One thing I want to impart on you to keep in mind is that whichever one you get, you're going to love. But like, because it's actually, there's no wrong decision here, but also know that you're supported. As one of our customers, we'll send you all of our materials, your first 7 recipes and your next 7 recipes. And there's a whole community waiting to welcome you with open arms. Let us know if you have any questions. We're here to help. Thanks for watching. Right, the sound. There really is no difference between the noise output, the sound between all 5 of these. Like we checked, we tried. My initial reaction to the X5 was that it was a decent amount quieter than the A3500. What I noticed was that during the cleaning cycle, it just felt really quiet, and the reason is the cleaning cycle on the X4 and the X5, all the X series, they're configured so they never get higher than variable speed 9. So the engineers realized that like you don't need to go all the way to the highest speed, which kicks on the fans and like just makes it really loud when you're just blending water and soap. So from that perspective, the X series will produce less noise than the A3500 when you run the cleaning cycle. But otherwise, no, there's no difference. And these compared to some of the entry-level models, there is a difference. These are significantly less loud than those.